Bother you too loud? I know last week.
No, it's fine. Will it bother you with them running the water though?
No.
If everyone would mute themselves, that would be great. So. All right, well, welcome everyone. And make sure you see my record button is going, please. I think we're good. So welcome everyone to our Sunday evening training for September 29th, 2019. And a special welcome to those guests that we might have on the call, as well as brand new LifeVantage distributors. So my name is Victoria Booth, and I live in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm a retired registered nurse, and I practiced in Western medicine for decades. And so I feel very blessed to be part of this Nutrigenomics movement that we're all a part of, and using naturally occurring substances to activate our bodies. And the huge plus behind all of it is that there's irrefutable science behind it all. So the topic tonight is really going to focus on Elite Academy and how to prepare for it. And we've got a wonderful personal story that I can't wait for everyone to hear. And then I'm going to talk about a few tax tips for going to events and travel related to business. And then at the end, a little extra on NAD and what we've got to look forward to when we go to our event on and a big launch for October 4th in Long Beach. So I'm going to introduce Amy Hillis, Pro 5, and she is in Chardon, Ohio. And I've had the extreme pleasure to know Amy for about 7.5 years now. So amazing, right? And she's a wonderful woman interested in natural health. She's passionate about LifeVantage and really, passionate about the fact that she has a little boy now, and she tried and her husband for 14 years to have a baby, and now they have wonderful Everett. So very excited. I feel like a grandma for her, as a result of this baby that we've waited for years and years and years. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on Amy to chat about Elite Academy and all the tips and things you need to know before you go.
All right. Well, thank you very much for that, Victoria. And Grandma Victoria is overdue for a visit to fly to Ohio and just love on our family and help us. She's done that several times over the past, and we just love it so much. That's part of like the family support team we have in this organization right here, which is all right. So I want to share a little bit of my first big event story. I had been in the company in LifeVantage for a few months. I had previously been involved in another network company that I didn't have good experiences with because I was clueless. I didn't know what I was doing, and I didn't know enough.
I'm going to come right back.
Hey, as people, let me dude, Victoria, you are on top of things. Thank you for muting everybody and unmuting me. You rock. All right. So my story, I'd been with another company, had not done well there because I didn't know what I was doing. And then when I got into LifeVantage, I had told my support team, if I do this, I want to do it well. I need help and I need training. And so then when they said, you have to fly to Elite Academy, I'm like, okay, well, so I flew and I went, not really knowing or what to expect, not really believing a whole lot would come out of it, but I went. And let me tell you, I took incredible notes. And after 2 days of that event, I had a totally different mindset. I was a new person with a different perspective. Because after watching person after person after person tell their story, give their tips and strategies, I had a plan of how to do this. And I had belief that these are regular, everyday people just like me. If they can do it, I can too. So I had that mindset of there's no reason I can't do this too. It changed my perspective. And honestly, I went to that event as a Pro 1. 2 days after the event, I was a Pro 2. It really makes a big difference. Okay, so getting into some things, and I've got notes here I'm working off of. I want to share it with you, the significance of going to big destination events. These destination events are the most powerful events you could ever go to. It is crucial that you attend them for a bunch of reasons. Sometimes you need to get away from the routines of your day-to-day grind to remind yourself of your dream and refocus yourself and your vision to where you need to go. But also, you have a chance to refocus on your dreams and recommit to your future in the process. You also will never know when one of the speakers on stage will say something at just the right time in your life that resonates with you and ends up changing you forever. That has happened for me. When you are at these events, it's just an amazing feeling to be surrounded by thousands of like-minded, positive people. You are not alone. You are in a community of other entrepreneurs striving to be their best and do better to help others. You are inspired by the achievements of others to do more and work harder for yourself and harder for your business. But right here, this is where the rubber meets the road. And I'm going to read a couple paragraphs to you. This is out of an article by Eric Worre. When you get there, there's usually, I don't know, between 5,000 to 6,000 people that will probably be at this event. To make my numbers easier to calculate, I'm going to say a room of 2,000 people. It will be larger than that. But envision that you are in a session room with about 2,000 people. At the next big event the company has, about half of those people won't come back. But the half that does will be making twice the amount on average of everybody else in the room. So your job is to be in the 1,000 people that go and come back for the next event. And it doesn't stop there. At the next event, of those 1,000 people that came from the first event, about half won't come back. But the 500 who do will be making 4 times the amount of the average income in the room. This pattern continues from event to event. If you continue to come back, you'll end up being among the highest paid people in the room. And eventually, you'll even find yourself presenting on stage. And I am here speaking that 7 years ago, when I went to my first event, I had no belief and mindset for any of this. But I have faithfully gone to events, event after event after event, missing only a few, like the weekend my little boy was born. And I know when I go, I'm supporting a team that is far larger than me. And that team has blessed me abundantly. And I am in the higher pay rank than a lot of people there just because I kept getting refueled. I kept getting inspired. All right. So it does make a difference. It does matter. Now, the nitty-gritty things. Be writing. Start taking notes now. Okay. When you pack your suitcase, you need to plan and prepare for some really important things. I dress what I call respectable casual. You want to be comfortable, but you want to wear clothes that you feel your best in and you feel great in and you feel confident and proud of you that you can speak up and take action. So wear clothes that are your power clothes. I call that respectable casual. I want to be comfortable, but I want to look respectable. The temperatures in Long Beach this week, are supposed to be around 80 degrees in the daytime and 60 degrees at night. So it's going to be beautifully, perfectly warm when you're outside. Dress for warm weather. But once you walk into the event and the arena and the sessions, very often they have the air conditioning blasting. So throw a sweater in your backpack. I will probably be taking my sandals, but I will throw a pair of socks in my backpack. So if I'm sitting in the session and I get cold feet, I will put my socks on. I like to pack snacks. I want to get the exceptional best value of every second I'm there. I don't want to get up and go be waiting in a line somewhere for food, wasting time. So I pack snacks, things like trail mix, granola bars, apples and oranges. Yes, you can take fruit through the security lines for your flights. I also pack hard-boiled eggs in my suitcase. I take oatmeal packets that I use for breakfast. I take my water bottle and Axio. Once I get there in the mornings where I'm staying, I will usually buy a gallon of water and load up my Axio, makes up my first bottle of Axio. But then there's usually water machines where you can refill the water during the day to make more. But be sure you have a water bottle or buy one there at the store. When you are in the sessions, take a notebook. Your handwritten notes will stick in your brain better than otherwise. So take a notebook or a journal with pens. Don't depend on the pen that they will sometimes give you free when you register. They often do, but don't depend on that. Have extras. Take pictures of the slides. So sometimes when a presentation is going on, things will go by so quickly, you can't get all that information down. But you want to have record of it to jog your memory later and study it. So for some presentations, I will pull out my phone and start taking pictures of slides. I also have downloaded on my phone and my tablet, I usually take my tablet with me too, an app called Easy Voice Recorder. On that app, it's an audio voice recorder. So I will try to sit in a place in the arena where I'm near the speakers, but won't pick up static and interference if there's not too many chatty people around me. So I can get a good audio recording. I don't always record every session, but the ones that I know will be the power speakers or the keynote speakers, I record on that Easy Voice Recorder app. Then I can replay those when I'm driving in the car on my commutes so that I can get the best value out of those. Pack whatever you need for extra batteries or chargers to make sure your devices can make it through the day and are ready to go. The sessions are continuous. Once they start, it's one thing right after the next, after the next, after the next. They don't take breaks for you to get up and go to the bathroom. So I choose to go to the bathroom during low content times. By that, I mean there will be some times when they're showing videos, which are cute little fun videos to watch, but you can pick that up on their YouTube channel later after the event. So you can watch that later. If they're showing just cute little fun videos, run to the bathroom then. During recognition time, and this is something I learned from my upline support team because they did it for me. When I started off, I was probably much more shy, quiet by nature. I would not have been bold enough to do this had they not encouraged me and done it for me. But if you have any team members that are rank advancing and walking across the stage, make sure as soon as they announce for those people to start walking across the stage, you run down front right by the stage. It's okay to walk in front of the Pro 10s and all the corporate people, just wiggle right in between the couches and take pictures. That's your celebration time to encourage your team. And when they walk down the ramp on the other side, that's when you give big hugs and take group team pictures. Celebrate those accomplishments. That's what drives so much fuel and momentum going forward in your team. All right, go to the sessions. That might seem simple and obvious, but it always shocks me when I sometimes make my run to the bathroom and I'm like, what are all you people doing out here in the hallway? Like the action, the learning potential is not in the hallway, it's in the session. So be in there learning to the maximum value you can. Sit or stand as needed. And I say that because for a long time, I was one that would just sit my butt in the chair and try my best to pay attention. Well, your body needs to move. So when you have a chance to stand up, jump around, wiggle, stretch, do it. Sometimes you might need to stand up and go stand at the back or off to the side or just walk a lap around the seating area to get your body moving enough to keep your mind focused. So whatever works for you and your body, you need to keep your body and mind focused. All right, I hope I'm not talking too fast because I get revved up and excited about these things. Okay, the store. I've noticed a lot of people love hanging out at the store, and there's tons of good stuff there to catch too. First, if it's possible, get there to register early on Thursday. That's just a huge hassle to not have to pick up your registration and wait in the lines on Friday morning. So if you can get there, register Thursday. Also, if you know for certain you have a pre-order to pick up or other products you're going to purchase for sure, do it first thing. Do it then. Occasionally, there are promotions and things or going on that will run out. And you want to get there to get the freebie promotion fun stuff before it runs out. And some of that promotion stuff I will use. Some of it I will give away as incentives or to encourage other people in my team. They love that. But you have to get there early before things run out. Saturday at lunchtime, go back to the store. Sometimes if they have things like t-shirt designs or different merchandise that maybe they're going to discontinue or they're not going to ship back, to pay the shipping to ship it back to the warehouse, they'll put that on super discount deal on a table. So go back at the very end before the store closes on Saturday and check that out. Also be aware, sometimes the people at the kiosk booths in the store are great people to pick their brain. Some of those people are the people that have been on the testing groups or the development team or have different roles. And when you have questions, go talk to them, listen to them answer other people's questions and pick their brain. You'll pick up great nuggets of wisdom from those workers at the kiosk booths in the store that you might not pick up from the sessions. Just great practical hands-on tips. Okay, my last couple things. Network. When the sessions are not going on, so that's in the morning, lunch, evening, dinners, group gatherings, parties, that's when you network, meet people, gather stories, share your stories, get groups together and connect. This is the culture and community building within the teams that make it a business family. But you need to be doing that. And you also need to make sure you are with the newest distributors on your team doing that, so they get the full experience of the event. Introduce those new distributors to their upline and support team leaders, the team lunches and dinners. But also, I think for me, this is it. In your mind, right now before you go, set your best intention. Expect and anticipate this to be a life-changing event. This to be an event you will always remember, and you're going to gather and glean the best of the best from it. So that's my quick nuggets of wisdom. And I know Victoria has tons more planned, so I will be quiet, and I wish you all an incredible, awesome week.
Thank you, Amy. That was amazing. I think you hit every point that could possibly be there. So for those that are, especially the ones that are new, I mean, you just gave a really, really thorough group of information for people to pay heed to. Thank you so much. That was wonderful. Okay, we're next. I have Kelly Brockmeyer, Pro 3. She lives in Las Vegas, Nevada. She's a woman of many talents, and she has a huge entrepreneurial spirit. And I'm going to let her take it away and talk about her first big event at Elite Academy. She was a little reticent about going, and she'll talk a little bit about that and why she's so excited that she did go to the event, and her wonderful story that goes with it. Okay, take it away, Kelly.
Thank you so much, Victoria, and thank you, Amy. That was really inspiring and helpful. I'll get right to it. I joined last November, and immediately people started talking about, are you going to the event? Are you going to Kansas City? And my ego turned on. That's what I like to call it. It turned on immediately, and I was like, I don't need, I'm excited enough. I don't need to go to an event to get cheerleading. Or another thing I thought was, I already planned all my vacations for the year. I don't have time or the money to make it to this conference. And it also came to me, work events are boring. I worked in a casino where there was conferences all the time, and they didn't seem, the people that attended these things didn't seem happy. So I was like, I don't really want to make room for this. And but I kept hearing about it. The months went on, and I kept hearing about it, and I decided I'm gonna go. Most of my upline, well, the person who invited me lives in Australia. So I was like, well, I'm gonna go, I'm gonna meet the rest of my team. But I went alone. I booked the Airbnb by myself. I was on the plane by myself. I took an Uber to the conference by myself. I didn't bring a travel buddy. And I'm glad it happened that way though, because they welcomed me with open arms. I met people that literally, I feel like they're my best friends now. And I think if I would have brought someone as like a friend who wasn't interested in the business or something, I would have just spent all this time with them instead of getting to know my new family. And that's one of the key things I noticed about the conference. I walked into this place of like 5,000 people, and everyone I looked at in the eye, I could feel their heart. Like, we were not only like-minded, we were like-hearted. And I've never been in a business setting like that in my life, or a work environment like that. And it became, I mean, I consider myself quite introverted with extroverted tendencies, but I mean, even in line or even in Kansas City downtown, I could lock eyes with someone and I knew they were part of the business just by how I could feel their energy. And so right away, it showed me community and family, and I wasn't expecting to feel that at a conference. Second thing that stood out were the presenters. Aaron Brockovich blew my mind. So many of them, I was like writing down, I think I had 2 notebooks, 2 of the little, they gave us one and I got a spare one and I filled that up. Brian Tracy was amazing. Not all of the presenters work at LifeVantage. So, I mean, they have skills all around, for success, for financial success. And I use what I learned from Brian Tracy, especially almost every day. And I remember hearing from a couple of people at the event, people pay for things like this, like meditation retreats, silence retreats, different, personal development things around the globe. And I heard a couple people say they don't even spend money on that stuff anymore because they get all of what they need at the LifeVantage conferences. I thought that was awesome. But the biggest takeaway was person after person after person on the stage, or that I was sitting next to, or that I would meet at the store. When everyone gets into talking about their stories, you hear, I mean, no matter where they started, some people had situations that were way worse than I could ever imagine. And they still got to a successful place. And And then there are people doing better than me. Maybe they have more connections than I do, and they're in a successful place. But every single one of them said to me, I didn't give up. I made the decision and I didn't give up. And that was their advice to me too. And now I'm just one person telling all of you that same thing. And you're probably like, Kelly, that's great. But when you're at a conference and you keep hearing it from all these different walks of life that you can be successful, just don't give up. You might get bored, or maybe someone in your, like something really bad happens actually, or, there's so many things that can get in the way of us continuing towards our success. And now because I heard that so much, it's like instilled in me, it shifted me. And literally every day, if anything comes up where I'm like, well, maybe this isn't for me, yes, it is. I decided it is. And that's just a bad mood I'm working through, or another way I'm up-leveling myself to something greater. But once you make the decision and you don't give up, that's it. It's going to happen. And I believe that now, because I have all of these people as, representations of that. And so many, just so many. So I just want to pass that on to all of you. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Kelly. And I know you've had your ups and downs, but you have not given up. You are in there and you are utilizing whatever you picked up from what you've learned, at Elite Academy. You're utilizing that information. So good for you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So now I am going to talk about some tax tips for you. And, when you're new and you're just starting a business, it can be, intimidating, right? So, the first thing to do when you're setting up your business and when you're doing events like this and attending, you want to create a folder. And pardon me, you can either create a physical folder to put all your documents in, or you can create one on your computer. So let's see. So the things to look at that you can use as a tax deduction is your registration, your training. You can actually use that as a tax deduction. So and transportation costs are a large deduction, because whatever you have utilized, if you took an Uber or a Lyft or a shuttle, so that transportation to and from the airport and the events is deductible. If you drive, you can use your gas receipts. Your mileage is deductible, and that you can use mileage at any time that you are doing your business activities. You can utilize that. Of course, airfare is deductible. And your parking fees, if you have to park a vehicle at a hotel and you have to pay those fees, then you've also got parking fees. Your meals, you can deduct at 50%. Your hotel room, get an itemized statement for your hotel room. And if you have people sharing the room with you, then what you can do is I always make copies for people, and that way they have the original charges, and then I put down how much they paid for the room, so that way they have that for the receipt. And then what I do is when I'm making deposits, I put that deposit into my business account. And of course, for all of this, it's document, document, document. So go ahead and put down, what you're spending your money on that's related to the business. The other things are product purchases. So a lot of us are going to be, going crazy for NAD and getting enough so that we can give samples to people, right? So your products are deductible because you're using that in your business. Another thing that you may not have thought of are charitable deductions. So if you're donating to the Legacy program, then that can be a charitable deduction. Another topic of items are under marketing and advertising. So any t-shirts, any kind of swag that you're buying that has LifeVantage on it, and you're displaying that or showing that as you're doing your daily thing, you can use that as advertising. And then there's marketing. So when you're buying any kind of written information that you're going to be giving to prospects, that certainly you can use that for a deduction as well. So if you have any questions, I'm the nurse. I'm not the financial planner nor the tax accountant. So please, if you have questions, go to those folks who are, that's their expertise. But I can tell you, treat this like a business, and it will pay you like a business. And whatever you do will come back to you tenfold. We depending on where you are and what station of life, you can only give so much time, but if you make that commitment to do that on a daily basis, you will see results, and never quit, right, Kelly? So now we're going to switch gears, and I'm going to quickly go over some NAD information. So I'm super excited, and you may see me in the store grabbing a sample of Axio and opening my first NAD bottle and popping a few pills, right? So these are layered products, and and we're all about what? Healthy aging, feeling better, those kinds of things. So these layer products are the tri-synergizers, right? And I thought of a layer cake when I was thinking about these tri-synergizers. So we have Nerf 2, Layer 1, Nerf 2, it's the garbage removal. We've got a huge toxic burden these days, and so we've got to clean up and protect ourselves. So we've got that first layer. The second layer on top is NRF1. We all need energy and power in our cells, right? And so what we want to do is create healthy new mitochondria, right? And that's exactly what NRF1 helps us do. And the thing is, every so often we replicate our mitochondria. So we really want to replicate, healthy mitochondria, right? So more and more reasons why these two products are so important. And then NAD is kind of like the icing on the cake. It's between the layers, it's on the top, it's all around the sides, it's everywhere. And NAD is like the CEO of every cell in our body. And it tells these 7 sirtuins, which are proteins. So Super 7, does that sound familiar? So I believe that's where they got Super 7 from, is those 7 sirtuins. So this is all about proteins and pathways in our body, turning the switches on, and they're all essential for healthy aging. So I went to PubMed and I thought, okay, I'm going to see about how many studies there are on NAD. And I looked up NAD and aging, and I found 1,745 studies. And then when I put in NAD and sirtuins, it rose to 2,516 studies. So I'm just going to quickly talk about a few of the topics that were in these studies on PubMed. So neurodegenerative diseases, lifespan, mitochondrial metabolic reprogramming, regulating the cellular stress response, type 2 diabetes. Now get this, the role in inflammation, oxidative stress, and mitochondrial function. So I think we've hit the mother lode. We have another product that's a proprietary blend with all natural ingredients. And I want to read this to you very quickly so we can close to time here. The question was, what is NAD and why is it important for aging and health? So you can't live without the coenzyme NAD. It's found in all living cells. It's required for the fundamental biological processes that make life possible. It has 2 general sets of reactions. One is helping turn nutrients into energy, and it's a key player in metabolism and works as a helper molecule for proteins that regulate biological activity. It's responsible for regulating oxidative stress and circadian rhythms, maintaining the health of DNA, and keeping humans healthier for longer. So with all that being said, you can find some information in your back office. Go ahead and get that, and you'll see what this exactly does. But wow, I am like so excited. I can't wait to get to the store and my product. So thank you all for attending this evening. Thank you, Amy and Kelly. And I'm looking forward to seeing all of you in Long Beach. So that's a wrap. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
Great
ladies.
job. Thank you. Thank you.